Second Cup is brought to you by Roswell Park Comprehensive Care Center.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on the start of a Tuesday morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Glad you're with us. Hey, we found some rain on the roads this morning in the Silver Creek area. So if you are heading to someplace out of the city of Buffalo, keep that in the back of your mind this morning.
The humidity's supposed to be dropping eventually.
Oh, my God. Wouldn't that be nice?
Ugh, it's been so sticky.
Yeah, I don't mind the heat, but sometimes it's the humidity that really, I think, puts people over the edge.
Oh, yeah, because, you're just sweating.
Right, you're
And
gross.
You're sticky, yeah.
I don't like that.
Uh-huh.
I don't like that, when you have to change your shirt a couple of times a day.
We do that a lot at my house these days.
Well, fair enough. You've
Paul
got
goes,
a different reason.
Paul goes, there is not one shirt that I have that's clean.
That's because you
Baby,
got, what, spit up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Or, you put them on your shoulder and they just drool all over you.
Yeah.
You
Poor
hope,
Gladys.
You hope it's drool.
Yeah, right. Seriously. Poor Gladys has been drooling like crazy these days because the fireworks
Because you got her so drugged up?
Well, no, the fireworks are going off and she just gets crazy and you feel so bad. She just pants and pants and pants. I mean, frankly, I was saying this to my mom the other day. We got her these drugs, and I was telling you this a couple of days ago. I kind of almost feel like we're abusing them at this point, and I don't like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have
Maybe you need to talk to the vet and see if there's something she could be on
full time
in a more permanent capacity.
Well, we're giving her a lot of this trazodone, and we're breaking it up into little quarter-sized pieces, like
she's
one
15.
pill, right? So, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I don't think we're overdoing
Maybe
it.
she needs like a mood enhancer.
Well, she's usually in a good mood. That's my parents' dog. She's on puppy Prozac. It's done wonders.
And maybe a little anti-anxiety med.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see what
Poor
happens.
little thing.
I know. 2:30
Maybe
in the
she
morning.
just
she's
needs a little cuddle from Katie. A little snuggle bottle.
she's not like a cuddler either, which is so weird. She'd rather be in her own little crate. In
They
her own
cuddle
world.
on their own time.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
Like they're like, okay, 2 in the morning when Bandit comes in right next to me. He'd like to cuddle now. I'm like, okay, great.
So funny.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about this. I think this is kind of interesting. The TSA instituting a new policy across the country starting Sunday is what ABC News is reporting. I think this is kind of, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. They're letting you walk through security with your shoes on.
So you have to assume that if they've come to this point, they have alleviated the potential issue there.
Sure.
Or they're able to, you do this thing now, full body scan,
Mhm.
and then maybe, you know what I mean? They
They
tested
see what
it.
you pack in.
I'm like, now does that show every? Could that bop me down about 15 pounds? Okay, great.
But no, seriously, I mean, all of this was, instituted because of that guy, that shoe bomber. Remember
Oh
him?
God, yeah, I remember. And actually,
Right after 9/11.
did you ever go to the museum
Yeah.
in DC? Did you see? Well, I don't know if it was a special display that was just there when I was there, but they had a whole display about homegrown terrorists.
Oh, really?
And I believe that was part of it.
Interesting.
Now I'm breaking this was back when Ryan was living in Baltimore, one of our friends. So I went to visit. So how long was that ago?
A long
6,
time.
7 years.
Yeah.
It was a while. But we went to the museum to see it then, and I'm pretty sure that I saw parts of it there on display. Crazy to see that kind
Sure.
of stuff,
I think the museum is actually closed now.
It is.
Yeah,
it is,
I don't think it
Mhm.
exists.
They
Which
closed
is
a
a
few
shame.
years ago. Yeah.
My mom. Good morning, Jan. I guess we're all special now. Right. So.
Because tell me you traveled with them, and that's why
I
she's
have.
saying that.
Right. So I have TSA pre-check, and I don't take my shoes off.
And I'm sure he told his parents that as he was beelining to the TSA pre-check line,
Right.
and they were waiting in the long line. TSA pre-check really, Ed. So here's the thing. I will say I don't fly enough to have it, but I also, when I do fly out of Buffalo.
Yeah. I
Which
just don't
is
want to take. I don't want to have to
Everybody's
worry about.
pre-check there. I feel like it's
Well,
not
but
big.
everything takes so much longer in the regular line, and you know how impatient I am.
I guess there's usually 10 people ahead of you, so you have 2 instead of 10.
Exactly. Well, but now I like what Julie says. Too many stinky feet.
Peter, see, I have had this happen to me too. Peter says he's gone through with shoes on before.
Interesting.
And I have, But I was telling Ed, it was when I came from, like, we flew internationally. So then when you landed, you go through TSA again. But it's not to say that you couldn't have, something could, gone to whatever. But they did say, don't take your shoes off because they yelled that at me as I was taking my
Don't take your shoes off.
Doesn't it always seem like it is an emergency? Everything in that TSA line is an emergency. Don't take your shoes off. Find your
I just don't like that they yell.
They probably are just so tired of saying it 1,000 times a day, which
Yeah.
I totally understand. But I always just feel the stress, even though, like, I know I've got my shoes off. I don't have a water bottle pack. But then I'm like, do I have a water bottle pack? I know I don't. But what if you do? You know what I mean? Do you ever feel that pressure?
No.
No, because you're pre-check.
And I also, me, like, we'll just mosey on through the airport. Everything's fine. La la la.
I can't travel with you. If you don't share my anxiety, I can't travel with you. It's like I have a hard time traveling with Paul. He does not share my anxiety.
Barbara, I have to trust it's the right decision, but I'm okay with whatever security precautions they want to keep us safe. Danielle says you have to have TSA pre-check in NYC.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Sure.
Kim says years ago we went on vacation. We were on the plane, went through security. They made my whole family get off the plane and do it again. You don't have to worry about germs on the floor.
Something that I also don't. Have you ever had your hands?
Yes.
I had that done one time too.
Yeah. So I'll tell you the reason why I have pre-check is because I actually have Nexus, and so it comes along with Nexus. So if you're crossing the border frequently, you get the Nexus. You don't have to wait in line. Again, impatient works out very well. And
Is it they go hand in hand though?
yeah, you can
See,
get them all
that's nice.
together.
Yeah, that is
So,
nice. Uh-huh.
You pay for one, you get them all.
Lauren's
Katie.
with me. She's got that travel anxiety.
I know. Just wait. So we're all going on a family vacation. It's like Swiss Family Carigliano Ranch. And
This will be fun for you.
I'm going to show up and just mosey onto the airplane.
Have you traveled with Lauren before?
No. Actually, that's not true. Yes, I have.
I was going to say good luck, Lauren, because I've traveled with him before, and
It's fun. You have
Sure.
a great time.
I mean, we did have a great time.
I know. We get Jamba
But
Juice. We get coffee.
there's no time for Jamba Juice or coffee. This is what I'm telling my husband about how he has no time to get any of these things. He wants a stamp. No time, no time. This one rolling up with his 19 things, 20 minutes. You literally, they were like, okay, everyone, we're just waiting for one more passenger. And here comes Ed.
Lauren's a psychopath. Right, exactly. I made an agenda. No, actually, it's going to, I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate somebody creating an itinerary.
You're the one who just wants to follow the plan.
Exactly. I'll tell you, I went to New Orleans for IRE a couple of weeks ago,
Right.
and I made it by the skin of my teeth. That was a little too close for me.
Flying out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, what time was your flight?
6:30
AM or PM?
a.m.
What time did you get there? Oh, don't even tell me. Can I guess?
Yeah.
5:45.
How did you know?
I just knew because they definitely say you should be there at least within an hour, and you'd be like, an hour, 45 minutes is fine. And it was busy.
And I had to check my bag.
You had to check your bag. Did they tell you you might not make it?
No, thankfully, I had 5 minutes to spare.
Okay, so. Oh, Ed. Okay, so this is why I have such travel anxiety. Because I traveled a long time ago with a friend of mine who is just like you when it comes to that, Aaron.
Oh, okay.
And we got to the airport like way too late for our international flight because we were going to visit our friend who was staying in Costa Rica at the time. So we had a free place to stay. So we're like, we'll go. We were much younger. So we go, and the woman is like, I mean, this is probably like 15 years ago at least. She's like, girls, I shouldn't even be checking your bag because you guys are here so late. This and
Oh,
this.
no.
And then Erin, the thing about my friend, and it's always people like this, is she's just like, really? Smile. Hot. Like, she just has the sweetest little disposition and face
Right.
that the woman's like, but I'm going to do it anyways. And I'm like, oh my God. And then she convinces me, we had a layover. She convinces me, we have time to have sit-down Mexican food. I'm like, I don't know if we have time to have sit-down Mexican. She's like, we have time. Get a margarita. It'll be fine.
Great, that's all you
So
need.
Here I am I want to say we went through like Philadelphia or something, in the airport at a sit-down Mexican restaurant, sipping my marg. And I hear, this is the final call for passengers. And it was our names. And I was like, we did make it. But that lives with me.
Okay, well, here's another part of the story. I thought that I had time to sit down and get breakfast once I got to Detroit. And what I realized sitting down is that my flight boarded at the time I was sitting down. And so I said to the waitress after I had ordered, I'm like, oh,
I just realized.
yeah.
Was she
I'm
mad?
A little, but she gave it to me to go. I mean, I tipped her. It's not like, it's
Yeah,
just not
yeah.
losing out on the tip. But
Okay.
you gotta love it.
I mean, Peter says that's why he gets to the airport 2 hours before.
No
So
way,
that is me now
Peter.
after these experiences. And I read my book and I download my little shows and I make sure I have my water and my snacks.
Do you bring them with you, your snacks?
Some.
Okay.
Mhm.
Marguerite, you're right. I don't remember the airline that just instituted a time restriction for when they will accept check bags. They always have a restriction. I think so. I flew Delta, and I believe that they just decrease the time that you have to check your bag. So in other words, they went from like 45 minutes to 40 minutes or so.
Right. So my bag wouldn't have made it to my trip. Marguerite says she's got fooled early one morning at the Buffalo airport. At least 100 people ahead of us. They made it just
Wow.
before they closed the airport.
Oh my gosh. That really is the worst feeling. Like I learned my lesson from that for sure.
Yeah.
I was at the airport coming back home from New Orleans way too early, and I was just sitting there and sitting there and sitting
And you're
there.
like, will this make up for my...
I mean,
way
like
too-
it was just time wasted, and I absolutely hate that. You
Do
know,
you remember when you used to be able to walk
21st night of
somebody...
September.
when you used to be able to walk somebody to their
I
gate?
do.
And you used to be able to like, bye.
Yeah.
Have a great trip.
I remember doing that with my grandma.
So different.
Yeah, I mean, this is a post 9/11 world. Everything's changed, right?
I know. Yeah.
Everything has changed, except here we are now, almost like reverting to pre 9/11 standards when it comes to leaving your shoes
Yeah.
on.
Although you have to assume that like they're doing that because, excuse me, the safety has been,
Sure. Improved.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. The other thing that I wanted to just mention quickly here, so I've been covering this story about the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Plant in Niagara Falls. This is part of my ongoing investigative series called Getting Poisoned. And obviously there are developments every now and then, but they have been mandated, Goodyear, to follow a certain plan laid out by the DEC and agreed to by Goodyear. And each milestone has a certain date or time period where that has to be met. This latest was to resubmit their air permitting application to try and get a new air permit, which would essentially control the amount of orthotoluidine that's being emitted into the air by Goodyear. So they would have to meet 2024 standards, essentially, because right now they're not. And they don't have to because they've been grandfathered in under a 2009 permit. Turns out that they submitted this updated air permit application, and Goodyear's like, no way, this isn't good enough.
No, the DEC. says-
Excuse me, thank you.
Yeah.
Goodyear submitted it. The DEC says this isn't good enough. John, can you actually go back to that really quick? Because I wanted to read you what it said in that letter that I just... Okay. So here it is. So they determined that the application was actually incomplete. So now they have to submit a brand new application by Thursday, next Thursday. They say the application does not contain sufficient emission calculations, data, and examples. And they say even the numbers that they were using to come up with this data doesn't show any proof of where they're getting these numbers from.
So like when you think back to show your work
Exactly.
when you were
in math class.
in math class.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is a show your work situation.
Exactly. And so they didn't. And so Goodyear is now being sent a list of 15 things that they now have to complete as part of this letter. I mean, look at how detailed this is.
And what's the timeline for that completion?
They now have to have it done by next Thursday.
Now that is a quick turnaround, I would
Right.
say.
So had they just done it right the first time,
Right. And maybe that exists somewhere, but they need to like spell it all out so
Sure.
they can see. Okay.
big question still about will they get this air permit? And what do you have to say about this? Because there's going to be a public comment period.
And if they don't get it, what happens?
They could feasibly shut down. I mean,
Interesting.
without an air permit,
You can't operate.
right.
Okay.
I mean, this is an issue that affects so many people in Niagara Falls because this cancer-causing chemical is being emitted into the air at up to 7 times the current standard. 7 times the standard. But the DEC says there's really nothing to worry about here because this is just worst-case scenario mapping. But the DEC has no proof to even prove that kind of a comment. You ask if there is any sort of information, any sort of evidence to say that this is more than this is more than just an estimate, and they cannot provide that kind of information.
So this might be step one of moving forward with that, making sure
Exactly.
that this happens. There's this plan in place. You show us your math. Now we're going to take a look at it.
And showing us the dispersion mapping, right? So they want to see, okay, what do your numbers show? Where
Right.
is this,
Yes.
chemical being blown out into the air?
Yes.
And who's affected here? Because we know some of the retired workers at this plant have been diagnosed with bladder cancer, a
Right.
direct result of exposure to this chemical.
So Barbara says, thank you for following up and keeping on them. Kim says it's awful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Peter says if Goodyear doesn't comply, then all the math teachers will be using a lot of red ink. Yeah,
Right.
no kidding. So there's a lot of public comment that could come out about this. And, the people who live across the street from the plant or the people who live in the community beyond that. I mean, and then there's questions about what's happening at the elementary school. I think it's Cayuga Elementary School in Niagara Falls, just on the other side of the 190.
Well, if you had kids that went there, you want this information.
Exactly.
Or go there, you want this information.
Well, and there's one map that shows the chemical plume that's actually emitting from
Mm-hmm.
the plant is hovering over the school. So what's real here?
So Jeanette says, this is a big deal. I can't believe these people are living there knowing this. It's also got to be hard if that's where your house is.
Mhm.
Because, if somebody told me tomorrow, pick up and move, it's hard to do sometimes.
And consider the people who are living in that area. Many of these people are lower income. They have been there for years, right? And don't have anywhere else to go or can't afford to go someplace else.
And I guess the other question, too, is if you went to sell your house, let's say,
Thank you.
and now somebody Googles the streets, this
80.
could be something they'd be seeing.
And this is the biggest problem, right? This is like Love Canal 2.0.
Right, because we know what happened then. You couldn't sell those houses,
Right.
Mhm.
And the government had to come in and buy all of those houses. But the government here in this case is saying, no, stay in your house. Stay, everything is fine. This is worst case scenario mapping, and we've got nothing to prove that, but you're fine.
Mm.
And, I'm not trying to be an alarmist here, but I'm certainly giving you the facts here to make your own decision.
Well, right. Some information you'd like to know
Thank you.
if you lived in that area, drove through that area, worked up there.
Have kids who go to school at that elementary.
Mm-hmm.
It's really mind-blowing. So I'm meeting with the Niagara Falls school superintendent, I believe tomorrow actually, to try and go over what their independent air studies show.
They do it at the school?
Well, they did it because this other mapping showed that the plume actually, that, the DEC says is worst case scenario is actually much worse.
Right.
And hovers and travels across the 190 over this elementary school. Lori says, I have a difficult time understanding how this is an ongoing issue in today's times. I agree 1,000%, Lori. And so the experts that I spoke to, and I'm so fascinated by this story because of that one point, Lori. How in 2025 is this still allowed to go on? Knowing the history in Niagara Falls, knowing what happened with Love Canal, 50 years later, we're still dealing with the same thing. And the experts are saying this is not how it should be.
Hey, John, can you pull that map back up? I wanted to see that map. Where you're talking about where the elementary school is? Where's the elementary school here?
So this is the map that the DEC has,
Okay.
that they put out. So this is what they say is worst case scenario. So that star is where Goodyear is. Okay, so that's where the highest level of concentration is. It fans out from there, becomes lesser and lesser. The elementary school is actually on the other side of the 190. So what looks like a little scissor at the bottom, you see where that little loop is?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the elementary school is a little bit further north and east.
Okay.
Excuse me, north and west. No, east.
East, yeah.
So it's just on the other side of the 190.
So we're looking to as if the right-hand side of this picture continued.
Exactly.
It would be over there.
And
Okay.
so that's what one expert says, how far this plume actually travels.
Okay, so
and
this map is not that, but an expert says it could be more extensive than this.
Exactly.
Got it. Uh-huh.
And I mean, there are so many different, in the weeds kinds of things, and, we don't need to get into the details
Yeah.
here. But the reality is that what they're saying is worst case scenario is actually a lot worse, according to this one expert.
Mm-hmm.
It's so unnerving to me as somebody who is just you're doing that watchdog journalism.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that this continues is just so hard. And Barbara, right, to your point, it's their home, their
Right.
community. Not that easy of a decision to pick up and move.
Well, and again, yes, that aspect of it, and then B, the fact that like if someone is looking for a house and they start looking around, who are you going to sell that house? I don't know.
Right.
So you'll continue to follow up with this.
You got it, dude.
Very good. Let's hit one more topic before we call it quits for the day.
You want to talk about the surveillance pricing?
Yeah, surveillance pricing, and then we can talk just like from surveillance pricing. I'd love to hear if anybody's gotten a good Prime sale. Because we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
So nobody here was really like had their eye on anything. Like, oh, I'm waiting for the Prime sale. But you were just scanning some.
Yeah, I went through some of them. I saw
Anything?
one thing.
What was it?
So my parents have this carpet cleaner. It's called a
Ah.
Little Green or something like that, Green Giant or something like that. I don't really know, but Bissell makes it.
Little Bissell, yeah.
Yeah, and it was really powerful. Like it really did well on our carpets, and so I wanted Russ to buy one on Prime for us. He's got the Prime account.
Interesting how that changed. Not I wanted to buy one. I wanted Russ to buy one.
My money is his money,
Let me tell Russ what I want him to buy me.
right? Oh, Sarah has one. She loves it too. Okay.
Little green machine.
Yeah,
Now
it was awesome.
Are we using this on area rugs or rug rugs?
Rugs, area rugs.
Is it up for borrowees?
Sure, if you
Because
need
I'd
it.
I'd like to try to clean the rug in the baby's room, just to get an idea.
Well,
of like,
okay, so here's the thing. It's not like a rug doctor. It's like it's like a handheld wand that you like go over and spray and then suck it all up.
So is it good for like pets?
That's exactly what I'm using it
Got
for.
it. Okay,
So
okay,
Miss
okay.
Gladys.
Okay. Got it.
So yeah, I asked him to okay, Sarah uses it on the furniture and the stairs.
Oh, look what Jeanette's looking for here. A new hydroponics garden. She found one for $39.99.
Jeanette, you growing weed?
There are a lot of things you could grow, Ed. Oh my God. I'm going to pop onto Amazon Prime here and just see.
It's legal, Jeanette, so have no shame.
Oh, so this is interesting. Actually, I did notice that the cost. No.
What? Spill a tea, girl.
Okay, so I have been looking for my godson. His birthday's coming up.
Okay.
He's going to be 4. So I was looking at this little excavator. It's like can you see that? Yeah, see, it's like a little toy excavator. Oopsies. It's okay. You know what an excavator is. It's a little toy remote excavator.
Yeah.
So it's telling me for the Prime deal, it's $29.99, regular price $49.99.
Oh.
But I swear that I had this in my cart and it was not that much before. Because I don't think I would have put a $50 item in there. I'm not sure. Anyways, though, that's cool.
Okay.
So there's some toy deals, some clothing deals.
Oh, Connie says, be careful and make sure you buy from Amazon and not a pop-up on your Facebook page. Oh,
Smart.
but Lori, okay, listen to this, Katie. Some of the prices have increased.
To give you a decrease?
Yeah, we've been
Uh-huh.
looking at air
Yeah.
mattresses, and up until early evening, it was lower. As of last
Ah.
night, one mattress increased about $1, the other by 10.
Interesting. So I'm kind of just like looking around at, let's see, I wanted to see if any of these things have
Jeanette, I was
dropped
just
here.
kidding with you. Of course, Jeanette. I see you're growing vegetables.
Prime, did you?
I know you're growing
Jeanette,
vegetables.
don't ever feel like you need to justify yourself based off something silly that you said. I would spend my whole day doing that. I would be like, oh my God. Oh, so
You looking for a stroller?
well, I'm just saying there's some strollers here. See all this stuff. Screenshots and things are now more. Smart Karen. Prime just cooking stuff.
Karen, wow. So Karen, can you send something to Amazon and say, hey, can you price match this
I
now?
screenshot some things that are now marked up to look on sale.
Huh. Interesting.
It is smart. See, that's kind of what I was just saying. I'm like, I don't think I would have put that in for $50. So just smart shop. And I feel like if you know what if you're impulse buying, you could be spending a lot.
Yeah.
If you know what you're looking for, maybe you've been like Karen, you've been keeping your eye on it, you've been whatever, then, you know whether or not to buy now.
What if it's part of that surveillance buying, surveillance
Okay.
pricing?
Yeah, and it could be. We were just talking about this, how, your phone, we know, kind of tracks what we do, our computer tracks what we do. And so it was saying it could bump up the cost of something if it knows that you're really looking for something. Also could do it depending on your zip code.
Right. And
That was it. Like, what do you think that means? Like, if you're in a more
More
affluent zip
yes,
code, it's going
absolutely.
to add a couple bucks?
100%. And is that price gouging? I don't know.
It's almost like the opposite of that in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, if you can afford it,
yeah, it's
They're
interesting.
bilking you for all you're worth. Well, so it turns out that this was used to, I guess, compare prices of a baby thermometer of all things.
Well, and because again, if you've got a parent, you can recognize this person's probably shopping for a baby because you probably haven't been searching strollers and
No.
crib mattresses and whatever.
So I wanted to just see what they. I'm trying to find the actual.
Sarah says her
information
phone gives her
here.
ads based on what her husband's searching for now.
Diamond ring.
Beautiful bag for my wife.
Right.
Are we on the right track, Sarah?
Okay, so the FTC says a customer profile as a new parent may be shown higher priced baby thermometers.
Because you're in the market for it.
Right.
They know you're going to buy one.
They're setting the price based on what you buy and where you live. They found that a toaster that cost just over $12 on a laptop cost less than that on the phone. So if you're searching for one thing in particular on one device, it might actually be more expensive compared to what it is on the other.
Okay, Peter was asking about the TI-84 purple case graphing calculator. Okay, allegedly, Peter, this right now says it's $126.99. What's with the purple case? Is it like a look at? That's cool.
Is it supposed to be on sale?
It says it's 15% off, but that is lowest price in 30 days. It doesn't have a prime deal, quote unquote. Like it does, buy prime, buy whatever. This is just it's 15% off, $126.99.
Marguerite says that she heard in Italy if something is marked down, they can't mark it back up. Kohl's drives me nuts with this.
Oh.
Why have they done that?
So, I mean, don't directly quote me, but as a shopper, I've noticed, and Marguerite, you can say the same if you've seen the same. The days that you're building up your Kohl's cash, things might be a little bit cheaper, I think. And then when you're using your Kohl's cash, it can be a little more expensive or vice versa. Like, it just depends on, like, the sale. It can be on sale and then go back up. And, like, you have to get to a certain amount to get your Kohl's cash.
Oh.
So it's a little bit of, I don't know.
I hate when they say, oh, this is not eligible for Kohl's Cash.
I
I hate that. Like if you go to buy a pair of Nike shoes, you can't use your Kohl's Cash
You
on
can't
that.
use your Kohl's cash on it.
Right. That drives me nuts.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I will say I did a great job with the Kohl's cash the other day. I had $20 and I spent $20.
Oh, good for you.
When's the last time that happened? Because usually,
Seriously.
like, actually, I'll get this for $50, and now it's only $30.
All right. Well, so here's the solution to all of this. And I think, that, so often we're looking for these solutions, and so often we're like, okay, well, how do I fix this? This is the definite solution. Use your browser on your phone or use your browser on your computer in a private mode. You have to click that private button because it doesn't track you. Here, I'll open up my browser. And so I am using private mode.
So you hit, yeah, okay. Mhm.
So show everyone what you're doing here.
No,
Okay, well, I'll do it.
because it's not doing it on my.
Well, what are you searching?
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to look like the dumb one. I'm like, let me get there first. Oh, see, I don't, and I'm also. This is the other thing. That's
333
See,
tabs.
that's why I didn't want to show everybody because I
You have
knew.
to close a couple tabs there, Kate?
No.
Before you showed your phone?
Well, John, I do because
What are
I
you
have
looking up over there?
333 tabs.
Oh my God.
You want to
Seems
know?
sus.
Here.
Seems sauce.
Do you want to know a day in my mind? Here it is. Baby carrier. Here's one. Frank Reich, because I saw him on and I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's doing these days.
He's retired. He's working.
Lily Pulitzer, because somebody had a really cute outfit on, and I thought that's cute. Oh, the Buffalo History Museum, because I called them the other day to ask about. What was I asking that they had? Some gift that I was looking for. Oh, a thank you note. Do you have Buffalo thank you notes? Connections, because I like to play Connections. Wordle, like this is.
My God. But now every one of these sites is tracking you.
There's 300 of them. Open.
Oh my God.
A joyful dog.
Use your private browser because when you go into your private settings, you are.
Now, can I just ask, am I the only person who, like, Frank Reich is a great example. So I'm watching this interview with him, and I'm like, oh, Frank Reich. Now I wonder what he's doing. Do you see people and be like, now I have to look up and learn more about their life?
No.
Oh my God, it happens to me all the time. Rod Stewart was on the other day. Remember, he was in the AMAs and he did performance, and I'm like, I gotta learn more about Rod Stewart.
If you think I'm sexy and you want my body, come on, sugar, let me know. Okay, let me read this to you, what private browsing says. Safari is designed with privacy in mind by preventing tracking by default. Private browsing adds additional privacy protections for all your private tabs. After you close a tab, Safari won't remember the pages you visited, your search history, or your autofill information.
I just don't pick Bella Kids.
Katie, I'm telling you, this is the way to go.
This is why I'm getting tracked for all my baby stuff.
Yeah.
Guilt. You must have told me to look something up. I don't shop on Guilt very often. The Daily Mail, my favorite news.
Well, now you know.
Home Depot. No, can I close all these at once?
I'm sure you can. There's got to be a way. Otherwise, your thumb is going to be real tired.
We'll figure this out later.
All right, we got to get the show on the road. Hope you're off to a great start. Everyone's agreeing with you, though.
I am so glad that people are like that too, because if I could have told, like, we could go through here and it's going to be all these random celebrities or people that, or like a story, like if you guys, because for the longest time, right, I wasn't working, I was watching, and you guys would say, and I'd be like, I think I interviewed that person before. But oh yeah, there I did. Like, I have to know more immediately.
And
You don't
we're
wanna
tracking her for it all.
Living in my mind is not easy.
Have
Bye,
a great
everybody.
day.
Have a great day.